I actually recorded an audition in my hotel room this morning.
Yay!
Technology, awesome. So, hi.
Hi!
Neil, nice to meet you. You know, I should get off the mic so that the people all the way in the back of the room can't hear me anymore, and they'll have to sit up closer.
What?
Man, he's so rude. Just kidding. It's like, hold on a second. You can't fill a room this size unless you're big. Come on, please. That's why hopefully tomorrow it's going to be the four of us together. Be my bruised little ego boost so the room will be filled. But Vic and I have actually worked on a couple of different things together. And met for the very first time last month in San Francisco at an anime convention. So as far as I'm concerned, the greatest thing about these conventions to me is I get to meet the people I work with. Holy cow! Oh, that's what you look like. Cool. In the old days of standard animation, and today with standard animation, it was done very much like a radio show. You get the whole cast together and you record together. And so you can see people and you work with them and you enjoy yourself and have a great time and, you know, build a lot of chemistry. But when you're dubbing things, like if you're dubbing a movie or if you're dubbing a foreign cartoon, anime, or any other foreign cartoon, you usually work alone. So it's funny how many times we'll say to people, I've never met you, but I've worked with you. So I got the chance to do that with Vic in San Francisco last month. Now, the way I usually introduce myself is I usually say, hi, I'm Neil Kaplan. I'm best known around the world as the voice of a character called Optimus Prime. Thank you. I was not the original. The original, of course, was Peter Cullen, who brilliantly brought Optimus Prime back to life for the big screen this summer, and I thought he was awesome. But one of the reasons that I got the job was because he was so good back in the 80s that his voice stuck with me for 20 years, to the point where I actually went to auditions using this and actually thinking, hey, that's something original. No, it's not. I'm still Peter Cullen. But, you know, so the way to think about it is, has everybody here ever heard of James Bond? Yeah. Okay. Well, I consider myself the George Lazenby of Transformers. Now, for those of you who don't know, James Bond was originally played by Sean Connery. And then the producers thought, he's getting a little old, long in the tooth. Let's go with somebody a little younger. And they cast another actor. Who only did one movie. He did On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And that was George Lazenby. Well, I followed up the original, just like he did. I followed up Peter Cullen. And I did my one series, he did his one movie, so I figured, there you go. And no matter how many guys end up playing James Bond, and eventually somebody will have some sort of forward thinking, and just like they cast a blonde this last time around, I'm sure, you know, we'll get a female James Bond at some point. What the heck? So I was the second, and there have been 2 more since then. But nobody can take that away from me. I'm pretty jazzed about it. You know, it really points up to light the fact that as a voiceover actor, we're very anonymous. I mean, I can walk the floor of the convention, not have anybody bother me except for, hey, old guy, get out of the way! You know, in which case, you know, but otherwise, unlike Aaron Gray, you know, who can't walk the floor without geek fanboys like me going, yes, by the way, that is my own patented warm-up technique. If I can do that, I know my voice is okay. So you got that little bit of being, you know, unknown, and yet, this was the dude I voiced, all right? How many people walking the planet right now that have any connection to technology do not know who Optimus Prime is? I mean, that's pretty freaking cool. One of the first people I ever met in the industry provides the voice of Goofy. Wonderful man. If you can find a nicer guy in Hollywood than Bill Farmer, please call me up and let me know. Because I don't think you can. Wonderful man. And he can go to dinner anywhere except on a Disney cruise and not get bothered. Of course, Disney fans tend to know what he looks like and they know him. But is there a character outside of maybe Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse that's more famous than Goofy? I don't think so. You know? So he really brought that to light for me, and that was a wonderful experience getting to know Bill. I'm a little stumped here, guys. When we said we were going to do this panel, I thought I was going to have 3 other voice actors. I thought it was like a 2-hour panel, all 4 of us just swapping stories and getting questions from you guys, which I think we might do tomorrow. So even if you sit through these today, you might want to come back tomorrow and hear some brand new stuff. Of course, if you don't hear brand new stuff, just stand up and say, I've heard it before! I'm going to be 41 on Sunday. I've got plenty of stories. So, you know what? I'm going to switch things up a little bit. Did anybody have any questions when they came in today that they wanted to know? Whether it's me or Transformers or voice acting? Well, thank you. I love them too.
Yes.
Woo! And personally, I was really jazzed with the movie. And right now, I should tell you, I'm writing, and I'm actually working on, knock wood, possibly producing a movie with a former World Wrestling Entertainment Champion.
I love the WWE.
Babe, you'll dig this movie.
I want to be you.
We'll talk. I think I've got my publicity person for Florida taken care of. Woo! So I'm branching out just a little bit. But as somebody who is writing, and as somebody who's looking into producing, I spent 3 years answering these questions, guys. First was if there's ever going to be a movie, and then when they finally announced that there was going to be, every convention I went to, people asked, what can we expect? How's it going to be? Do you think it's going to be any good? What's going to happen? This or that or that or this? And I come at this from several different standpoints. I was one of those dorky 11-year-old kids who wrote letters to Paramount back in the 70s and got them to make Star Trek the Motion Picture. You see, they didn't always have this little box called a computer on your desk, and it wasn't always attached to this thing called the internet. So if you wanted to, like, nice catch! Woo! I'm old, but not that old. So if you want to make a difference, if you want to be a real fanboy, you took out a piece of paper, you took out a pen, and then you looked up an address, which again, you can't go to the internet and cheat. You know, so don't ask me how I ever found out any of these, any of these things, or how we fans ever bonded together. It must have been like a group of gnats, like flapping their wings at just the right speed so the Trekkie down the street would hear my plea. We banded together, we wrote letters, we got the movie made. And I gotta tell you, it was a pretty strong emotional experience for me sitting in the front row of Century 22 in December 1979 and seeing Scotty take that shuttle around the corner. And there's the Enterprise. I mean, literally, it was one of